Extremely sad news story today. We have a West Cork woman facing homelessness at 88, finally found a new home after a public outcry. So this lady here, Jennifer Marley, she drew national attention. It was a massive news story a couple of days ago after she was facing homelessness in just a matter of weeks because her landlord decided to take the home off her that she was renting. Now at 88, she is end of life age, okay? This is near end of life. You know, people get sick and then that's it, guys. You know, 88 is an extremely old age. And this is a new government scheme. You know, I reported on this one a few months ago where the government want to kick elderly and elderly pensioners out of their homes and make room for young people or, you know, foreign people coming over, you know, into these migration camps. Ukrainians, Algerians, Albanians, who knows, guys? People from the Middle East, people from China, African, I mean, anyone but the Irish people, they want a home, okay, in these new elderly pensioner homes. And it was a massive outcry. You know, people absolutely lost their mind, which is absolutely great to see, because the older generation are the salt of the earth in Ireland. You know, they preserved culture, they preserve heritage, they've worked their entire lives to actually help the state of Ireland, to help the people, and what they get in return is getting kicked out of their home in an elderly age. It's just disgusting, and it's actually a disgrace as well, guys, even reading this. So she found a new home finally because she was served with a notice to quit her rented home in Bantry, West Cork. Okay, it was quite remote, I think, as well. And she had up to August 1st to find somewhere to live. Okay, so Independent Ireland leader TD Michael Collins brought up the case in the Dáil, saying it was a shocking indictment of the state. Okay, because like I said, it's a new scheme. They want to bring in people from the EU, the UN, human trafficking. They want to kick elderly people out their homes, and they want to put in new people, you know, people that aren't, you know, of Irish heritage and stuff like that. You know, it is quite disgusting, guys, honestly. She said, while she had a good relationship with her landlord and his son, she was facing the prospect that made her a little bit wobbly. Okay, Mr. Collins said, I'm delighted to say that she's found a new place to stay and an interview for her new home on Wednesday morning, and she was accepted. Okay, so she finally got a new house, thank God. She said, I have a growing number of people that are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who are facing homelessness. And now this is no laughing matter. This is like a huge deal, because when you're 60, 70, and 80, you know, you have your pension now, you know, you're not really able to work that much. You have to kind of rely on the state a little bit, maybe for a house if you weren't able to, or your old apartment, your old house, what have you. But it's kind of crazy, guys, that now these cases of people are getting older. You know, when you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, not having a home, you know, in Ireland now in 2025 is pretty normal. Okay, they've made it normal with the housing crisis and such. But in your later ages, it's very, very hard to actually gain a house and gain function, have the rest of your life, live the rest of your life in peace. Now they try and kick you out of your home. It's crazy. It said Mr. Marley relocated to Bantry in 2019, so she'd been living there for about 6 years, and then she faced an uncertain future of the very real prospect of being left without a roof over her head at 88. Okay, although she registered for social housing and actively sought assistance from Cork County Council because the landlord decided to sell the house, because the landlord would make more money selling the house than renting it to this lady, she had not been offered a suitable alternate for her case until it was raised in the Dáil by Deputy Michael Collins, which, by the way, is the best name ever for a TD. Shout out to Michael Collins of Independent Ireland. Jesus, like, what a name. That guy was just made to be in office. Amazing. But Jennifer is very much someone who's the fabric of the community of Bantry, and she faced in the aspect of being abandoned. So she was abandoned by the state, it seemed like. Mr. Collins brought the motion before the Dáil, detailing a series of solutions to reform the housing and emergency accommodation systems. We cannot treat the elderly with such contempt. Of course, like I said, the elderly bring heritage, culture. They really help the country of Ireland push its way. And, you know, what sort of country allows this to happen to older people? Well, in Ireland in 2025, that's the kind of country that allows people to be treated this way, okay? And this is also due to basically the whole aspect of being left in a kind of a free-for-all state. You know, we have a state now that does free-for-all. No, there's no checks and balances anymore. people getting kicked out of their homes. You have these new incentives to kick elderly people out. It's horrendous. But one of the main aspects as well is the delusion of the media, okay? How the media is horrendous. They're being funded by the government to push these news stories on the people, to try and convince and brainwash the people into thinking that everything the media says, everything the government says is correct. Well, we know it actually isn't, guys. It's terrible, actually, most of the things that come out. But today we have a great story, and I want to just show a part of this where basically, for those who don't know, this is Jesse Ventura and Oliver Stone, who did a lot of these, 9/11 documentaries. They talk about the media and how the media used to be the fourth branch of government. It used to kind of hold the other three branches of government to a higher standard. But now, we saw that RT are being funded by the government to a tune of 725 million euro. Like, just crazy amount of funding. They're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. So anything the government say, RT just go along with, or news talk, all these different radio shows, they just fall in line to anything the government says. So let's listen to Jesse Ventura talk about how the government should be holding them to account, okay? They're talking about Hugo Chavez and these kind of older stories. This is 15 years old, but I just love the way Jesse Ventura talks about the government and how and the media and its role in the government is amazing.
Are you kidding me? What happened to the greatness of America? I mean, I don't understand. I really don't understand this, Larry. That
you tell me
people out
what
there,
happened to the greatness of our media.
This type of
how about when our media used to be the fourth branch of government? Our media was there to be the check of watching the other three. But our media today, mainstream, is not that, Larry. Okay. They are bought and sold. I'll give you examples. When I was an independent governor in Minnesota, I wrote my autobiography when I got in office. The mainstream media accused me of profiteering from winning that office. Wait, 2 months later, John McCain comes through on a book tour, and they herald his book. And yet, because I don't belong to these two parties, I get chastised by the mainstream.
You hear that, everybody? I just want everybody in Ireland to understand that's what's going on here. The media in Ireland, RT, News Talk, Joe.ie, these big ones, like Irish Independent, they should be critiquing the Irish government completely. But they don't. They're all bought and paid for, as Jesse Ventura said, they're bought and paid for media. And if me or any of these other people that are, dissension, trying to do, critique the government's agendas, if we were to release a book, or if I was to try and make money off the back end of something, my material that I'm doing here, they would completely chastise me. They would completely just say, oh, this guy's stupid, this guy's crazy, he's a conspiracy guy, he's this, he's that. Whereas, if one of these big influencers like Garen or one of these people comes through, the two Johnnies, and they push a news story, the mainstream media will pick up on it straight away and push them, and they'll say, yeah, you're the best. They'll herald them. They'll say, yeah, you're amazing. You're amazing. If I try to put out a book, no, it's not going to happen, guys. And I get more views than these people. I get far more views than any of these news channels. If you guys look at my views compared to RT's, News Talk, Joe.ie, I get the same, if not more views on most of my videos. And the people want to see my content more than their content. And it's funny, they'll never have me on their show. They're afraid of me. They're afraid of the message that I push. These people are cowards completely. They don't want to have any other competition. But I'm coming, baby. This channel is going to be the biggest news channel in the whole country. It is already, okay? I'm trying to become the next big thing. And I want them to understand that this message that the people want, because I talk to the people every day. I talk to people. This message that we have is more important than the bullshit that they're peddling. You understand? We will win. This fight is not over yet. And the people, if they think that these news channels are going to come down and get me, come cancel me, come do something, because I'm not afraid. And it's great to see people like Jesse Ventura exposing these people. Okay, if I was to ever run for a public office or do some of these jobs in Ireland, okay, the Republic of Ireland, the country that I've lived in my whole life, you just know damn well that the mainstream media would just come for me straight away, okay? They're afraid, guys. They're afraid to have people like me on the show. They're afraid to have actually people like, Ben Scallon and these other people, John McQuirk, on the mainstream media. They never have us on the shows, okay? Very, very rarely. Even though my channel gets far more views on YouTube than any of their bullshit channels. So let me know your thoughts on that. I just thought I had to expose the mainstream. Do not listen to mainstream media. A lot of people are telling me they threw their TVs in the flipping bin. They flipping stopped watching TV 10, 15 years ago because it's all brainwashed propaganda. Up and through the board, 100%. Now, the last news story we have today is Simon Harris eviscerating Pierce Doherty, of course, of Sinn Féin. Now, everyone is saying that this is set up. This is like not true, that they spoke about doing this behind closed doors and it's all like theatrics and theater in the Dáil. I'm not so sure yet, guys. This one is absolutely crazy. Okay, of course, Simon Harris says that, you know, you have killers in your in your party, okay, Sinn Féin party. So let's see exactly what he says, guys.
Collecting the killers of Jerry McCabe from the gates of a prison. Don't you dare present yourself as a defender of the Republic. There's going to be dead in this country as a result of the actions of your party's army wing. You know nothing about defending the Republic. Nothing about defending the Republic. And here you all are with your Hamas buddies. Jean McConville.
Damn, that's actually the first time I've ever seen Harris, little T-Boy Harris. T-Boy Harris. I've ever seen him actually go crazy like that and stand up. He said there's Gardaí dead in this country, which is not good. You know, you don't want to see the police dead. That's crazy. Okay, from the army party wing of Sinn Féin. Okay, now I think they're all in bed together. I think Sinn Féin, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, shit, pretty much every party in this country that's not a national party or an independent party. I think most of these parties are in bed together anyways. I think that they pretty much just, you know, take off each other. And it's all from the same kind of playbook, play sheet. They just read the same, you know, itinerary or the same sheet, and then they just go out into the public and say it. So
defending the Republic. Nothing about defending the Republic. And here you all are with your Hamas buddies.
Yeah, so it's funny that he says that as well. Like, obviously Hamas are a terrorist organization as well, because Sinn Féin, obviously, you know, big pro-Palestine, but they also talk about how they're friends with Hamas. Like, that's not good. Like, obviously Hamas are a terrorist group. Like, why you'd align yourself with them is just mind-boggling. They caused terrorist attacks October 7th. Like, it's just crazy.
Buddies, Jean McConville, Jerry McCabe. Jerry McCabe, you had a party for the people who collected the killer. You had a party for the people who collected the killers of Jerry McCabe, and you should apologise.
Damn, that's actually crazy. If that's orchestrated, I mean, fair play, okay? All the people in the comments are saying, yeah, absolutely, it's theatrics. He said the pair of wankers went to the bar right after this and congratulated each other on their acting. I mean, probably. That's probably what happened, you know? But if it wasn't, you know, I mean, shit, fair play, because calling out people, different parties and that kind of thing, like I said, I think they're all linked to every party, them big three anyway. But to be honest, like, man, yeah, Sinn Féin being friends with all these people and taking them out and collecting the killers of all these different people, not good. Obviously, not a good look. Now they're friends with Hamas and this kind of thing. Yeah, guys, Sinn Féin are just as bad in my opinion. They're horrendous, guys. They act as this sort of left-wing party, nationalist party. They're really not. You know, they're just full of bullshit, guys. Let me know your thoughts. I love you all. Leave a comment down below. Help support me. Hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member today for just the price of a coffee per month. And yeah, I will see you all in the next one, guys. Peace.